Listen, I really did not want to make a video about AI, but here we are, you and me. Let's talk about AI and what it means for small businesses. I remember the very first time that I used AI. It was in November 2022, and at the time I wanted to make blogging my main source of income. Someone at the time told me that I should use ChatGPT, that I should feed it a prompt with the main keywords and the main outline of the article that I wanted to write. And so I did. And I was in awe watching paragraph after paragraph being spat out about the thing that I should have been writing about. And I remember thinking, oh my God, this is amazing. It's gonna save me so much time. And of course, I was too blinded by the shine of new technology to realize that what ChatGPT was churning out at the time was just generalized slop, would just blend in with the other thousands of blogs and articles that have been artificially generated by a prompt. So since that day 3 years ago, I have really changed my relationship with AI and the way that I use it. As a small business owner, it would be foolish of me to completely write off AI as a tool for growth, but I have drawn very clear boundaries around what kind of tasks I am happy to delegate to AI and which tasks I will always and forever do myself, or at least delegate to another human being. So let's talk about AI, creativity, and productivity within small businesses. Let's dive in. So let's start with the elephant in the room. Creative jobs are already under threat because of AI. I recently watched a video which then inspired the video that I'm making right now. The video is on YouTube and it's called AI Ruined My Life. And it's just this account from this guy sitting in his car. It's a very raw, kind of like talking head video where this person says that AI has basically stolen his job on 3 separate occasions.
AI has ruined my life. They don't care about craftsmanship anymore. I've been trying to run for the last 3 years. Back then, not everybody could be a Viner, if you remember the Vine days. So now what happens when everybody is a hero?
So the guy in the video says that he was working for a YouTuber as a writer for his script. He wrote a script that did very well on YouTube. Then he was fired by the YouTuber person. And then the YouTuber used this guy's script to feed it to AI so that he could generate many more scripts in his same tone of voice and in his same style at basically zero cost. So if you're anything like me, you are horrified at the notion that someone else's work is being exploited and making someone else piles of cash while the original author of the work is basically without a job now. So this is just one of the probably millions of examples that shows that AI's business model is founded on other people's work being stolen, mixed up, and then what's churned out in the end is just slop with a bunch of M dashes. And by the way, I resent that ChatGPT uses M dashes because I used to use them all the time in my writing, and now it's become a tell that someone has written something with ChatGPT. Bring back the M dashes. But anyway, it looks like so many business owners out there just prefer using AI to create content instead of paying another human being to do it. Because obviously they can double or triple their output for a fraction of the price. Hell, there's even been a scandal where like a self-published author left in her book a prompt that they had given to AI. And in the prompt, they asked AI to write an entire chapter in another author's style. If this isn't a sign that we're treading in very dangerous waters, I don't know what is. So the reality is that at least some of us are handing over our creativity to a code. And this, I have come to believe, is really unethical and ultimately destructive. The question that makes me squiggle in my seat every time that I think about AI is, are we delegating what makes us human just because making stuff is hard? Watch this reel by the amazing American Baron.
AI can do anything now. You can work, you can not work, you can get whatever you want. Sky's the limit. So what do? What do you want to do? Make movies. AI can do that now. But I want to do that. Right, but AI can do it, so you don't have to. But I want to. Right, but now you don't have to. But I want to. But you don't have to. But I want to. But you don't have to. But I do have to. No, you don't. Yes, I do. No, you don't. Yes, I do. No, you don't. Yes, I do. Why? Because I want to bad enough. But you don't have to. But I want to have to. But you don't have to. But I want to have to. You don't have to want to. But I want to have to. But you don't have to want to. I don't have to want to what? You don't have to want to want. You can just have what you want. What if I want to want? Why would you keep wanting when you can just have whatever you want? Well, because wanting was the fun part. But not getting what you want is painful. That is. But getting what you want is worse. And part of what makes me me is what I want. If I don't want nothing, what's left? What's left is enjoying having whatever you wanted to begin with. Maybe all I wanted was to want something bad enough. Bad enough to forget that there's nothing there once you get it. But don't you see? We're already there. We're already there.
So back when I had my blog, I soon realized that asking ChatGPT to write my blog posts instead of writing them myself was making me feel dead inside. So I stopped doing that and went back to doing all the writing myself across all of the platforms that I had. So that was my blog, Instagram, my newsletters, all of that. I started just writing all of that stuff myself. And this is something that obviously I'm still doing and I will continue doing forever. I will always do my own writing. This is because my goal in this online space is to genuinely connect and create community. And I don't want to delegate connection to a robot, even if it would have saved me the 3 hours that it took to write the script to this very video that I'm filming now. And you know what? I don't want the hard work to be easy. I want it to be hard so I can learn from it and then become better as a person and as a creator. Whatever happened to honing your craft? I don't care if it takes me hours instead of minutes. Not everything should be about optimization and productivity. We should stop valuing productivity so much that we start manufacturing connection instead of cultivating it. I will take all the time that I need to do the creative work myself, to the best of my abilities, and I don't care if a line of code could have done it faster and in my exact same voice. And this is something that I've heard online creators say very often, talking about AI. They say that if you train ChatGPT well enough, it will eventually learn to talk exactly like you do. And it will do it so well that nobody else will catch you using it. As if that was a reassuring thing to happen. Even if I could and did train ChatGPT to write exactly in my style, and even if that didn't creep me out, I still want to be the person writing all of my content. Because writing and saying these words to you makes me better as a business owner and as a human. And I don't want to trick you into connecting with a server instead of me. So this is the one big boundary that I set for myself as I continue to grow my business. When I write copy with the goal to connect and create community, and when I do any creative task, I want to be the person connecting and creating. I don't want AI to take that away from me. Not everything needs to be productive, streamlined, and optimized. However, I don't think that AI is all bad. I think that actually can be very, very helpful if you have the goal to grow a small business. So I'm still figuring all of this out, just like you are, presumably, but I now have identified a bunch of tasks that I'm very happy to delegate to AI. I saw the potential of how ChatGPT could come to the rescue a couple of years ago when a colleague sent me an email that was so long. And she had written it with the intention of being helpful. She wanted to be thorough. But in the process, she had added so much to this email that it basically translated to about 4 pages of a Word document. And it had like tables and it had like financial data and like many chunky paragraphs. And that was just too much for my brain to dissect. I usually like my emails to be short to the point, maybe a couple bullet points, and that's it. And so I didn't have the mental strength to go through all of that information. And so I copied and pasted it into ChatGPT, and I asked ChatGPT to just extrapolate the main information, give me headlines, and give me a bunch of notes of what my colleague was asking me to do. And that helped me so much. And so I said, hey, what if I treated AI like a slightly incompetent and not very talented intern that worked 24/7? So I'm not going to ask this intern to do any creative work or to do any work that requires some kind of like input and original thought. But I will treat ChatGPT or any AI system as a data processing tool, basically. I essentially use it all the time to capture and organize data. And I honestly think that this is the best way that business owners can integrate AI into their small businesses. Just delegating the boring and non-creative tasks that everybody hates doing, even the people who are actually paid to do that stuff. So here's some examples of the kind of tasks that I delegate to AI. Taking notes and creating minutes for all the meetings that happen both online and in person, creating subtitles and transcripts for most of my content, analyzing transcript from my training lessons and helping me organize what I say into training materials that I can improve, creating the design for the training materials and the slides, even though I'm the one creating the actual input and content, analyzing my newsletters and YouTube scripts and helping me identify what themes I can repurpose for Instagram posts, brainstorm ideas for titles or keywords or project names. All of these tasks I have zero problem delegating to AI because none of them have to do with the actual content, heart, and soul of what I do and who I am. They are boring administrative tasks that are necessary, but they don't require a high level of skills and craftsmanship. And you know what? I might be onto something here. Did you hear that YouTube announced that from the 15th of July 2025, they would start demonetizing those accounts that don't generate original content and whose content doesn't feature real human voices? This means that videos on YouTube that rely on AI-generated voices, reused content, and low-effort compilations will no longer be eligible for monetization. It's almost like advertisers don't want their products to be associated with content that is lazy, unoriginal, and that lacks in value. It seems to me like more and more people are sick and tired of not understanding whether something is human or not. You know, I'm a millennial, and like many people of my age, we remember the golden era of the internet, where everybody was blogging and making videos just because it was fun, and nobody was trying to sell anything to anyone else. We logged online and we engaged with each other because creating stuff was fun. No one would ever think at the time that in 20 years, businesses would be selling prompts for your creativity to be outsourced to a machine. I think that as the frenzy of AI wears off, people will actively seek out humanity more and more, and will stop trusting faceless and soulless content, and will want to engage more and more with real people, just like we were wired to do. Or at least that's my hope. I don't know where we're heading from here, but for me, I'm quite happy with the balance that I struck in my small business, considering the way that I use AI. I don't want this to be outsourced because I like creating and I like writing scripts for my YouTube, even if it takes me a lot of time and even if it's not always good. But meeting notes and minutes, yeah, the robots can have those. But I want to hear from you now. What do you think about all of this? Do you disagree with me? And am I too much of an AI purist? How do you use AI in your business? Let me know in the comments. I really hope that you enjoyed this video, and if you did, I would appreciate it so much if you hit like and you subscribe to the channel, and have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye!